Bienvenue YouTube, welcome to another video here on the channel. We're still here in January in the third rail month. Today we're driving this class 47 with a modified version of the AP scenario on this service from Brighton to Glasgow Central. We'll be in charge as far as Redhill today. Just get our headlights on. Quickly prep the cab, so we'll put master key on, reverse it to neutral, cut in the AWS, and just release set the brake to that, and use the we'll set the brake off fully actually and secure it with that. I'm going to check what we like for. So do we depart at 36? So we've got about 2 minutes till we depart. So this is the so this is obviously a mod of the AP scenario. I've replaced or removed the 37 entirely and replaced it with a decent 47 because I realised we've never actually driven a 47 for a route learner on the channel, so I thought we could do it today. 47814 is actually the loco that's failed in the AP scenario. So in the AP scenario, you rescue this train with a 37, wearing a 47. And of course, it's during the time that they were refurbishing or rebuilding the station here at Brighton. So AP have got these wonderful hoardings up. Not a bad place to train spot from this, is it? Of course, you've got down here, you've got the 319. So this is early days of privatisation by the looks of things. 319s, 423s. Yeah, decent amount of stock. So yeah, we are just going to be sitting here waiting to pull out. You can see we've been brought in by this class 9. That's now been shut down. But this is the loco that brings us in, or brings this train in. And there's even a guy stood in there thinking about the meaning of life. So this is the Lovers Walk depot shunter, and you can see it's got the high level jumpers here to connect to the slam door stock, which have the high level jumpers there. Other than that, not much to talk about. I've just got the hood up just so I've got an idea of how long we've got until departure. This will be a fun one, let's do it. I've actually, so as well, I did the notes for this in the 37, not the 47, so it'll be really interesting to see how differently this drives. I'm expecting better performance just because, obviously, we were a 37, which I think is slightly weaker, unrefurbished 37 than the 47, and of course we were dragging a dead 47, which we're no longer dragging. So it'll be interesting to see how this one goes. Station staff slamming the doors. So give 2 high tones to acknowledge. Brakes off. Take a chunk of power. Let's go. There we are. Let's go. Wow, this thing's quick. So start speed restriction is 25 miles per hour. So we'll build it up to there. The good news is we are going to be absolutely flying up here. So our first stop is in about 14 miles and it's Hayward Heath. So this, like I say, is the DTG Class 47 with the sort of updates and texturing of the ATS TPO pack. The line's over there, that's the East Coastway route, that leads towards sort of Lewes and then on to Eastbourne. And then disappearing behind Lovers Walk over there is the West Coastway towards Southampton. Clear the AWS self-test, got the green aspect. So I do like the scenic updates that came with the 319 Volume 2 for this route. So you've got the behind us, obviously we had the hoarding, and in front of us you can see the former Pullman works here at Brighton. We're going to rag it wide open, full power. We've got the Mark IIs on the back, the lovely AP Mark IIs. Full power, we're ragging it up, we're going for 75. It would also be useful for me to... There's no train heating controls, that is very interesting. No, there is train heat. Interesting. Well, we don't know. We'll figure it out later. Oh, there it is. Train heating goes on. And that provides electric train supply to the train. We'll also turn our instrument lights on because we are going to be hitting tunnels soon. Our line speed at the moment is 7 and 5, 75 miles an hour. This is Preston Park Station. Apologies we didn't get a close look at Pullman Works. Oh, we're going for it. See, the speed is climbing pretty nicely. Off on the left there, that's there is. I think that is technically a stabling siding. I think they only use it for turnbacks at the moment. I'm enjoying driving some different trains than I would normally do at the moment. I've not done much train sim lately, just with the way the world's been. Really, I've not had time. But I got an accidental day of annual leave today. Well, I say accidental. I've had a really hard couple of days at work. So because of until the timetable change, I was on what's called a spare diagram, or a spare roster. So basically, I would get allocated any jobs that were uncovered, whether someone had gone sick or was on annual leave, I would cover them. Now, a general rule of sort of railways and working is if if you know you're going to have a really easy little half day, you're going to absolutely push yourself as hard as you can to get through it to avoid losing the pain and taking the absence hit, right? Well, that means I always get the really shit jobs. And I had a day on Saturday where we didn't stop. Sunday, we didn't stop. Monday, we didn't stop. Tuesday was then a 4:15 sign on for me. So that's it's just too early basically. I am definitely a night owl. Yeah, just speed check. And I really struggle any sort of sign-ons before 6 a.m. I'm not rested at all. And I got halfway through the day and someone asked me for a shift swap and I was looking at the actual 90 euro permitted here now. I was looking at the day and I saw that there were people sort of sitting spare. So basically, if you don't get a job by the day, you still come in for your shift. So you have an assigned book on time of say 5:01, and you come in at that time and you sit in the crew room. And if someone phones in sick on the day, you can be given that job depending on some sort of rules. But after 4 hours, you get to go home. And I thought, well, there's people sitting spare. And I am really not in a state where I should be at work. So one of the things that we were told about recently is the Karolinska sleepiness index, which is basically a way of measuring how sleepy you are. And I realised I hadn't been below a 5 in at least 2 weeks. So, I was just shattered. So basically 1 is fully awake and alert, 10 is you falling asleep on your feet. And I'm consistently been 7s and 8s, and my joints were really painful. Like I've found that I was getting to a point that I wasn't even walking home from work because I was too sore, and I was getting a bus back. And we are dragging it down the hill. 80. This is quick. So this is far quicker than I managed to achieve in the 37. And I don't really think I got the 37 past 75. Just checking my notes here. so basically flying to the Hayward Heath. You can see the loops that then cool, basically the way the engine cools itself, wide open. We are absolutely racking it here, and the engine, I need all the air I can get to keep cool. You can see the amount of smoke rolling out the roof. Not as claggy as a 37, but to be fair, it's pretty claggy because the amps are stabilised. 85. Now one of the things I do need to do, because I need to be aware of this, is a running brake test, but I also want to try and hit 90. So I'll get to 90, then I'll screw it back to 80. Bear in mind, this sort of section of the Brighton mainline is broadly an uphill slog. So the 47 is doing okay. I think sort of other low units of the aero would struggle to get this quick. Sorry, I was drinking. This would be Kima Junction, so that's the line coming in from Lewes. So basically, if you imagine Lewes Station is a sort of V shape, the East Coastway comes in at the a V line on its side. The East Coastway comes in from the bottom of the V, and that unit there, sorry, is going down sort of the top side of the V. There we go, that's 90, we're at line speed. I'm going to shut off. To be fair, we're at 87. I'm going to let it run for a bit. There we go, I had to do that for myself. Can't open the window, that's a shame. Can't open the door. So this, of course, is the exit, the modified Huddersfield 47. 88.3, that'll do me, honestly. See if I were coming up on the braking point, I believe, here anyway. Familiar with these. Okay, so that scrubs up reasonably fast. Power back in. So you can see as the revs and amps build, you know, smoke rolls out the roof. And then as the amps stabilise, that bleeds off. See? There you go. Boom. Boom. So I'm going to just stand on the brakes, actually coming through, well, coming under the arch here of this bridge. Just looking where I've put it. That's where I want it. So it's just difficult to see something with these brakes, what position you're actually in. So 2/3 is generally a good place to brake, no matter how inexperienced you are with a unit. And then I get down to about 30, then, well, 30, then the brakes will come off. And that's the brakes will come for 30, so they'll release by 20, and then I'll run to the platform at a good pace. So that's the brakes coming from the loco, but then it's going to have to flow down the intel into the train first to achieve a release. Okay, these releases are very quick. These are some good Mark 2s. Bear in mind we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 coaches on the back. That should have released a bit slower, I think. But I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to judge. To be fair, we are probably very well. We're due at Hayward's Heath 13 minutes ago. So yeah, we are running a bit late. Well, we left 15 late because of the failure in Cannon. We left 15 late, so probably recover a bit of time on this. 25. I'm going to put a brake on because I'm coming in a bit hot. Brake off. So, what, we left 15 late and we're arriving 13 late. That's not bad, so we've recovered 2 minutes of time. It shows how much padding there is in these schedules. Now, arguably I could stop against the 8 cars. I'm going to go right to the end because we're not what, yeah, VT's I think what we'd go for here. I mean, we are fully platformed, I guess. The guard will give us a cheeky little beep. A single buzz, which means to stop here. Release the doors. I do love the Mark IIs. For some reason, the shape of the coach of the Mark II is probably my preferred shape. My preferred coach, to, like, just from nostalgia, Mark IV. But just from it's nice on my butt, Mark II. So the guards just reopened the doors for some reason after going the right way, so we'll wait for that cycle to complete, then we'll go. I'm going to absolutely rag it out of here. Where can I put the camera? End of the platform's a good point. See how fast the train's going by the end of the platform. Thrash! Doing 12 miles an hour by the time the front's past me. "30 miles an hour by the end of the platform. That's quite impressive, you've got to admit. You got to admit it. You got to admit it. So, next stop is Gatwick, which is about another 14 miles. Cool. So really we're 90 for most of this thrash. We dropped to 80 for a while, but I don't think we'll be 80 by the time we go around it. It's one of those. No, right. There's a little quarry down there, so I can't remember the name of it now, but there is a quick place. Very nice. And this is Ooze Viaduct, River is Viaduct. Right, Ooze. So, and then this is the other little bit of cool stuff. So the viaduct was being rebuilt at this point. Actually, this would be a good little screenshot spot. You rag it over the bridge. There's no speed restriction in place, so we can come in at line speed pretty much. We are wide open on the throttles. So accelerating and get ahead. Like I said, our next stop is Gatwick. Our next landmark we're looking out for is we pop out of one of the tunnels along here onto a right hand curve. And that is an 80 up next, so we need to be aware of that. I believe we're in the tunnel momentarily, I'm not 100% though. My sort of nudge on this bit of the line isn't as good as I'd like it to be. Yeah, no, we're coming up on a tunnel 100%. Well, 97%. Yep. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shut off the tunnel. Save myself like burning some fossils to get an extra 2-3 miles an hour out of it. Like I said, the timetable's fucked already. We can just drive at normal pace. We're driving at 75, so put the power back in. Rag it. I think it's a little bit of 319. And the 90 is in this area. I don't think it's actually signposted, but yeah, it's just ahead. Cool. There. Oh, 100. Perfect. So we can go to 95 here. Amazing. 95 is the top speed of a 47, and 100 is the top speed of a Mark II coach. There you go. This will be 3 bridges we're coming up on. So obviously nowadays this is a Thameslink depot, so plus 700 depot, I believe it's on this side. Yeah, it is. And then you've got Thameslink Rock, sorry, 3 bridges Rock in this area as well. Like that, thrash away. And then of course another 37 here. So this is sort of like what we'd be driving, but we're driving this instead, which is a bit different, a bit cooler. Back to a 90 on that. I'm glad we managed to get anywhere near the 90. I see the double amber, so I'm going to put the speed off. And it was 60 on the crossover. And the 60s, the crossover is not that far after the junction there, so we need to start scrubbing the speed. Get it to 60, then shut off. Release the brake off. 65. I'm probably braking a little bit early. This is also one of the aggregate sightings I can't quite remember the name of. Let's have a look, because we can. Crawley, of course. Crawley Yard. just swing over the crossover here. And of course, here's Gatwick. We'll just skim some braking. Again, the platform's not particularly long here, so I do want to get slowed off nice and neatly. I'm going to probably aim to stop near the end because I just don't trust the stop car markers. I'm getting actually killed. Oh, crap. What? Oh, this is interesting. Sorry about that. I didn't realise that the buzzer controls actually shut the AWS off. Well, shit. Sorry about that. I thought this thing had a buzzer. Apparently not. I'm surprised the 47s don't actually have buzzers. Trying to see. It's not where we want it to be. Two. So we are. Yeah, we're recovering time. We're 14 late now. We're left 20 late. Well, 15 late. No, we lost a bit of time. No, hang on, we're after 36 minutes past. We were due wait, so it's 16 late, so we recovered 2 minutes of time. To be honest, that's coming to a stand did not help matters. I'm going to stop on the 8 and just sod it. It should work in theory. I mean, they're basically halfway back to Brighton down here, but you know, it'll do. Here comes the plane. Very stuttery plane. Oh, got the road. Double amber, single amber next. We are constrained to a 70 limit departing. Throwing fumes out the roof. I'm going for it. Oh look, there's GAX 73 train up there. That's always fun to see. Double amber, single amber next. Singles next. What I'm actually going to do, I'm actually pulled up to agree, which is good. So whatever it is, it should be accelerating away from us. What I'll do, I'm going to shut off, I think, at 60. Because we are catching it up, and it's probably going to be stopping at Redhill if it's on these lines. So the tracks to the right, they will diverge onto the quarry lines, so that is basically a fly-in. We go through the old line, I guess. But no, basically this is sort of the one where you take a stopper. So Thameslink comes up this way, Gatex goes up that way in modern days. Coasting. To be fair, that was that a clear signal? Yes, it was. Let's just rack it a bit. I know there's positions on the throttle controller between full power and idle. Well, full power is what I need right now. We'll just leave it in. Salfords. So that's 2 stops before. Yeah, next stop, and then it's Quarry Junction, and then we rumble into. I had to go on. It's called Brighton. It's not Redhill. It's Redhill. Apologies. Fishing on greens, so we'll see. Dubs. Again. I cleared the AWS, it just didn't fire up because I was pressing the key button apparently. Yes. So I'm definitely shutting off now. That's a single. Single amber is bad. There's a 75. We're not going for that, we're going for a 30. Yeah, I don't think I've actually done a speed today. I've driven a bit cautiously, but I've not actually done a speed, which is rather different for me. I mean, to be fair, I'm driving a train which it would struggle to speed on this area, but you know. So yeah, that's the quarry lines diverging there. So that is, so if you go up there, you pop out basically just before East Croydon. I'll show you on a map. So yeah, you diverge here and you whiz along, whereas this line takes in Redhill, Mersham. Sorry, it needs to stop the train, then we'll talk about it. Yeah, so we're following a train that's in the platforms. secure on the local brake. So, as I was saying, you've got Mersham, and then this is Coulston South, and then Redhill, and then it returns at Purley, and yours at P. So that's where the lines rejoin, and then that's East Croydon, and then you're into London basically, and that's obviously Victoria at the top. Fly into. Oh, so that's a Redhill Arctic service coming out from Redhill. Oh look, a Res 47, that's cool. And you've got a little 319 there on its way to Horsham. Route 32, so it's 42 there for a second. Thameslink, Network South East. Oh no, that's going to Tunbridge. That line's coming to train sim soon apparently as well. And that is one I'm quite excited for, and I would even pay for. So there you go, he's off there. I did have to tap this signal when I did it last time. That's why I just hit the tab there. Probably waiting for it to clear the signal here, right? Yeah, because there's not clear the next signal, which is right the way down there. I'm just going to put some train braking because I feel like I'm moving backwards. So I've removed the brake from the loco was fully braked on, but the coaches weren't, so now I just applied the brake to the coaches. There you go. So going for 15 in this pull line. Really slow speed. This also shows you how close. Okay, that's not gauged well at all. That clips. In case you're wondering, no, it's not supposed to do that. And that's 50 miles an hour. We'll shut off. There we go. We're sort of not basically on notch. This is Redhill. We'll run around the train here, which we won't be doing in this part, before we continue up towards Reading and then onto the cross-country route from there. It is an interesting little run out, this on the line. You know, something very different to what we normally get to do, I guess, but that's quite nice in a way to sort of experience something different, something new. Happy January, folks. Hopefully January's a little bit nicer than December is, because the weather here is miserable. Anyway, let's rumble on in. We're coming into Redhill station now. Break off. You get past this shunt signal, I think. Actually, no, that's the platform start signal. So we'll just stop it here. Because we're going to come off the front and then do some running around. But we don't care about that. Because that is the end of the video. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe to see more from me on a really regular basis. Until next time, guys. Bye for now.